Welcome to Sounds of the Cinema.
Hello and welcome to Sounds of the Cinema with me, Billy Ray. This is the podcast written for moviegoers by a moviegoer, which talks all about music within the cinema universe. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about songs, music, soundtracks, all written specifically for films. And we're going to be covering great visionary directors such as Hitchcock. And we're also going to be talking a bit about David Bowie and his involvement in the soundtrack for Labyrinth, as well as an interview with Josh Higgs. Josh Higgs is a music student and he's going to be telling us a bit about film scoring. So I'm going to start off the show by talking about James Bond, because in terms of theme songs and soundtracks, James Bond is just so prominent. Everyone's got their own favourite James Bond theme tune. The most recent instalment is Spectre, which was directed by Sam Mendes, who also directed Skyfall back in 2012. He hired Thomas Noonan to return as a composer for this film. The soundtrack for this one is called Writings on the Wall by pop singer Sam Smith, and he says that he wrote and recorded the song with a regular collaborator called Jimmy Napes in one session, and they were so happy with the quality that it ended up actually being the final product. As good as the latest instalment in the James Bond franchise's theme song is, my personal favourite is License to Kill, which is performed by Gladys Knight back in 1989. A theme song that really stands out to me is Alice by Avril Lavigne, which was written by Alice in Wonderland back in 2010. She said that as soon as Tim Burton said that she could write the song, she got off the phone, went straight to her piano and started writing the song. She played the song for Tim Burton, who approved of it, and then they confirmed it and they actually played it during the credits of the film. It won Best Video for a Film for the MTV Music Awards in Japan, and it also won the Best Movie Song for MTV Fan Music Awards. There's a lot of high notes in the song, and so it has this very Alanis Morissette kind of vibe to it.
Turn myself around, don't you try to stop me. I won't cry.
So I'm now joined with Josh Higgs, who is a music student, right?
Yes.
And he's going to talk to us a bit about film scoring. So what is it that you're doing at the moment?
I do creative music technology, so that covers a range of things. We do a lot of film scoring for trailers and just general film music.
So you're making some scores for trailers at the moment, you said, right?
Yes.
So this might sound like a massive question, but when you've been given this trailer or something that you need to make a piece of music for instance, how do you go about doing that?
So I'd start with just a piano or something, or strings, because strings, one of the most used things is strings, because the sound of strings is so clean. You can write really distinctive melodies on it. If you look at most trailer music at this day and age, almost always driven by strings. When you're writing music for a specific thing, be it an advert, trailer, or even film, you always have notes from the person who created it, person who came up with the idea, or the director or someone, because you need to be on the same page as whoever's creating the visuals, be that from whatever level, to producer, to director, to writer. So it's incredibly important with scoring that you know exactly what they want so you can produce the same emotion.
Why do you think we make this kind of music for films and things anyway then?
As a film, then you have all the elements are working together, and to create a mood, you need visuals, you need sound. The two of those work closely together. The only director I can think that doesn't like using music much is Steven Soderbergh. But he likes going for long periods of just no music and bringing up the mood in other ways, because I believe he said that he feels it's cheap just to use music to get tension.
So if anyone wants to find your stuff, where can they find it?
You can find me on SoundCloud. I'll be J Higgs.
And that's where we can find all your music and stuff?
Yeah, all made by myself.
Well, thank you for being on. It's been really interesting. I think we've got a lot more in depth with our subject. Thanks for being on.
Oh, no problem.
So back in 1960, Alfred Hitchcock made the movie Psycho, which was his masterpiece, probably the best film that he's known for. It's often considered one of the best films of all time, one of the best horror films, and I think a lot of that has got to do with Bernard Herrmann's film scoring and his soundtrack. If you've seen the movie Hitchcock, which is basically a documentary as to how the film Psycho was made, there's a particular scene in which Alma Hitchcock, who is Hitchcock's wife, tells him that you can't make the audience jump by simply going boo. There's a particularly memorable part of the film, which is right towards the end when the film's premiering. and every audience member in the cinema just gets so scared and may jump, and they scream and scream with every slash of the knife, because every time the knife slashes, the strings in the soundtrack get really loud, and it's just brilliant. The next theme song on the show is somewhat of a recommendation by Mags Hall, who is a radio lecturer here at Canterbury Christ Church University. It's from the film Midnight Cowboys, which came out back in 1969, directed by John Schlesinger. The theme song for the film is called Everybody's Talkin', which was written by Fred Neil, but for the film it was performed by Harry Nilsson. Fred Neil's song Everybody's Talkin' also won a Grammy Award for Best Male Pop Vocal Performance for Harry Nilsson.
Everybody's talking at me. I don't hear a word they're saying.
The last thing I wanted to talk about on the show was Labyrinth by Jim Henson, which came out in 1986. The film is just so important to me because it's my favourite film of all time. I have so many memories of just playing it over and over again on the video player at home when I was a child. The song Underground is played during the opening credits. Jennifer Connelly's name comes up, David Bowie's name comes up, and then all this music builds up, and then suddenly you see the word Labyrinth appear on the screen. The song is really important because whenever I hear it, I just get so much nostalgia and it just completely takes me back. But the most memorable song from the film is probably Magic Dance, which was also written by David Bowie. This song is sung by David Bowie in a part of the film in which he's trying to stop Sarah's baby brother from crying. And that brings us to the end. You can find all the songs used in today's podcast on my YouTube channel in the playlist Songs Made for Movies. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.